Hey everyone, I'm Colin from Gaming Through the Ages. My channel's called Gaming Through the Ages because I like to play games from almost every era, from the NES on down to the present day. But recently my content has been focused more on present day stuff, but for this one, I really kind of wanted to go back. There's a JRPG series that gets a lot of love and attention that, quite frankly, I haven't really experienced all of that much, and that's Dragon Quest. So for this video, I thought, let's go back and play the original and see where the JRPG genre really had its start. Now, is this a game that one should constantly go back to, or is it really more of a historical curiosity? Let's get into it.
If I had to use one word to describe Dragon Quest, it would be the word simplicity. You control one character, you fight one enemy at a time, and you have a simple goal. Fight the Dragon Lord. There really are no fancy systems to aid or hinder you along your path either. Equipment is simple. You have slots for your sword, your armor, and your shield. You get upgrades from shops in various towns throughout the game, and these are all straight numerical upgrades. If a piece of equipment is more expensive than the one you are wearing, you should buy it, because it's better. The spell system is pretty simple as well, although there is a bit more variety. You learn spells as you level up, and their names kind of speak for themselves. Heal and Heal More both heal you and heal you more, respectively. Hurt and Hurt More, well, hurts enemies and hurts them more. Some of these spells are really useful, like Radiant, which gives you a free and more effective torch, and Return, which ports you right back to the castle from anywhere. Porting right back to the castle is really useful, because in order to save the game, you need to talk to the king. This is the only way to save the game, so every time you want to save, you gotta huff it back and tell the king what's up. And to be honest, I thought I would hate this aspect of the game, but it's really not that bad. For the beginning parts of the game, the map is small enough that you're never really too far away from Untitled Castle for it to be a big issue. And once you're grinding away, at the other side of the map, you first find Wings, an item which will port you back to the castle, but then you learn this spell, which makes it entirely painless. But, since I've mentioned grinding, do you like grinding? Then this game might be for you. This game shouldn't have been called Dragon Quest, it should have been called Dragon Grind, or Grind Quest. Grinding is the core feedback loop of the game. Did you find an enemy that you can't beat, like the green dragon in the swamp cave, but you know that you need to beat it? Well, then you know that you need to grind. There's no real strategy you can use to beat an enemy that's stronger than you. You just need to increase your stats. Oh, you want to go equip better weapons and armor? Well, you're going to need gold for that. How do you get gold? You grind. And some of these prices can get insane. I was following a guide from time to time just to give me a bit of a heads up on where I should go next and what I should be prepared for. And the guide recommended that I grind 23,600 gold. Well, I thought, there goes my Saturday night. I got the gold, and I got the equipment for it, which increased my stats, but to do it I had to spend hours just walking in circles, killing the same enemies. But, you would think, at least I'm grinding out experience as well, right? Sort of. Yes, you are gaining experience, and I did gain some levels. In the 3.5 hours I grinded out that money, I gained 2.5 levels. And I think that ratio of time to progress is what makes it aggravating. One of my favorite Final Fantasy memories is when I got to the end of Final Fantasy VI. I distinctly remember getting out of a Spanish class on a snowy, blistery day, turning to a friend of mine and saying, you know what, I'm going to go home, get drunk, and grind to level 99. And that's what I did. Wine, YouTube, and grinding all of my characters so that they could all cast the ultimate spell, which turned Kefka into an absolute joke. Why did I find this evening enjoyable? 2 reasons. The first is that it's a special occasion. I made the decision to grind. It wasn't a necessary aspect of the game that you constantly need to do. The second was that there was a much higher rate of return. Within an evening, I could gain upwards of 50 levels for each of my party members, and I knew I only had to do that once. I could come back the next day, finish up the final dungeon, and have beaten the game. With Dragon Quest, The reward for doing the grind is the ability to go to a different area and grind. Well, I didn't mind it at first. The grind really did get to me around the level 15-16 mark. Yet, everyone recommends you grind to level 20 before the final boss, which is what I did. Now, that's not to say that this game is all bad. I think it sets some really important and interesting ideas down for overworld exploration. In the beginning of the game, as you're headed north to a town that other townspeople tell you about, you discover a random cave. Nobody mentioned it to you before, so you go to check it out. In that cave, you find no enemies, but you do find a piece of writing from Erdrick, your ancestor, who tells you that he has hidden 3 special items around the world that are necessary to kill the Dragon Lord. I really like this, because organic exploration led me to discover more about the world, and it gave me another goal. Instead of simply save the princess and kill the Dragon Lord, I had another goal: find Erdrick's items. Dungeons in the game are primitive, but serviceable. All of them are dark, so you need to bring a torch until you gain the Radiance spell, and then it's all about wandering around until you've found the item that brought you there in the first place. When I say dungeons, I really mean like 2 or 3 or 4 areas that have monsters and chests. So far as I can tell, only the Swamp Cave and the final dungeon at the end of the game really has a boss character. In the Swamp Cave, it's the Green Dragon. That dungeon actually felt a bit monumental to me. The Green Dragon had killed me a few times before I had grinded up to level 13, and the fight was still tough. I only managed to kill it because of a critical hit, and the reward was finding Princess Gwaelin. That's plot, that's progression. We need more of that. By bringing Gwaelin back to the castle, you gain access to the item Gwaelin's Love, which, as all love does, takes a slot in your inventory. This item will let you see how much experience you need for each new level from anywhere in the world, not simply at the castle. The reason why this feels good is because you are tangibly rewarded with an item and with progress for overcoming a challenge that the game presents you. Unlike every other challenge in the game, you have a second to bask in that glory before you head back to the old grind. One trope that this game established that you will either love or hate it for is the 2-phase boss battle. The initial phase of the Dragon Lord is easy, a little too easy. I was shocked at how quickly he went down, but then he transformed into a dragon, and then the fight was on. This phase of the fight is intense. I managed to win my first try by using Heal More every time my health dipped below 50, though there was one time that my health went down all the way at 1 HP. With perseverance and diligence, though, I became the victor, and the land was saved. Normally, the end of a script is where I tell you if I liked the game or not. For a game like Dragon Quest, I think we need to ask a different question. What did this game do for the genre? Well, it created an easy-to-understand battles and exploration system that would be the foundation for literally every other RPG that has ever been released. It managed to do that, all while providing an experience with decent music and absolutely lovely character designs. And for all of that, the game should be remembered and commended. But let's not pretend that Dragon Quest still holds up today. It does not. Having the entire gameplay loop consist of grinding for money and experience to overcome a small hurdle that need to do it all over again is the definition of tedium. But playing through a game like this allows me to reflect on what other elements have become important for the genre. In the upcoming entries, I know that we will see things like the addition of party members and additional monsters in battle, and probably easier ways to save the game. But what I really want to see are things to do in the game that serve as markers for progress in and of themselves, much like the moment where you rescue Princess Gwaelin. I want to see dungeons that are interesting to get through, complete with a boss monster that, while challenging, provides you with something cool when you beat them, like a great new weapon or a piece of armor. And I want there to be a narrative compelling enough to make me want to play the game for the game, rather than the sense of accomplishment I would feel upon finishing the game.
So after playing Dragon Quest, or Dragon Warrior as it says on the cartridge, I'm not going to go back to this game. As I said, it doesn't really hold up. To be quite frank, I'm not all that surprised that Final Fantasy has more popularity in the West than Dragon Quest does in Japan, because we got Final Fantasy first, and a lot of the things that I pointed out that I wanted the JRPG to develop into had already been developed in Final Fantasy for the NES way before we even got this game here in the States. But I do know that this series has a massive fan base, and so what I experienced can't be all that the series has to offer. Throughout the life of this channel, I do want to go through the next couple of games, or really all of the games, to be honest, although I can't promise that I'll do them in any sort of marathon-esque fashion. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead, leave a comment, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next week for more content from Gaming Through the Ages. Have a great day.